Can you even fathom that he left hundreds of American citizens in Afghanistan? He shirked his responsibility, seems to be getting away with it. He's allowed tens of thousands of people from who knows where, many of them verified with COVID, and just turned them loose. We now hear about a caravan of thousands heading towards the border chanting his name. They love him. And you know what Biden's doing? He's building a wall, not to protect America. He's building a wall with your money around his beach house, and it will cost almost $500,000 for that wall. Would you like to get that contract? Maureen took her German Shepherd to the vet. She didn't think about the cost. She didn't think about the inconvenience. She took it out of love. That's what you do when you care about something. Biden has absolutely no love for this nation. How do I know? He's proved it. I hope everyone has a wonderful day from the Zoom Walk Zone.
We are tracking beautiful conditions for today. Highs heading into the upper 60s and lower 70s. Overnight falling into the upper 40s with increasing clouds. A few showers possible into the afternoon on Thursday. But as we head into Thursday night, we have a better chance of seeing some stronger to severe thunderstorms roll through, with damaging wind speeds being the main threats, and an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out, especially for areas to the south and east. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills' #1 morning show. Mornings with the LeaderMan. Here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
Wake up! Don't want to sleep through your big day.
Big day?
Hump day. Am I right?
What hump? Hump, 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 hump.
Hump. I don't want to wake up.
Oh, cheer up. It's almost Halloween.
When is it?
When is it?
This weekend.
This weekend.
That's my favorite holiday.
We love Halloween.
I'm going to make you hump day treats.
The show's about ready to start. It's showtime.
Well, we have ones and zeros again fighting me. That's why the music starts and stops. It's sitting there rolling, but it's not coming through the control board. But if I stop it like this and restart it, and then it cuts off. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, welcome in to Mornings with LeaderMan. I'm Steve Leader Adams, along with the Colonel, retired Marine Colonel Jeff Drummond. Good morning, Colonel.
Good morning, Moore County. Time once again for the Truth and Freedom, found only here at WEEB. And we have an early show for you. Dave Hensley's here, so if you didn't get your apple fritters and coffee going too late, even though it's a nice morning out there, you're going to have to sit down and listen up, because we've got some important information for you.
Don't forget, of course, we're being heard and seen around the world on our live video stream. That's up and running right now at talk973.com or talk1041.com or weeb990.com. Top middle of the page is where the link's located. If you're on your mobile device, you can get to it like that, going to our website or firing up YouTube and putting Mornings with the LeaderMan in there. And if you also want to, you can fire up a streaming app and put WEEB into that search. And, of course, you can always go to our website, and in the upper right-hand corner of every one of our web pages is an icon that says On the Air Listen Live. Click that once, and you're listening that quick for our audio-only channel. It's all free to you. Weather for us today here in the Sand Hills area. It's going to be a good one today. Look for sunny skies, high of 70. Tonight, clear and 46. Then Thursday, partly cloudy with showers and isolated thunderstorms. 60% chance you'll get wet. High of 68. Thursday night, cloudy, more showers, maybe a thunderstorm, a low of 57. Friday, we could see it. We have a chance of thunderstorms late in the day. Otherwise, partly cloudy, 67. Friday night, still partly cloudy with rain. This won't be the constant rain. This will be the on and off kind, which will start out on Thursday. Low of 49, and majority of the time it will not be raining. Saturday, partly cloudy, rain showers possible. High of 63. But Sunday and Monday, Tuesday, all sunshine with a high of 69. Right now around the Sand Hills, winds are west at 1. Pressure is 29.62. Dew point 36. Humidity 68% is clear. 48 degrees currently here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. Well, when one computer refuses to play a song, go to the main one. It can play. All right, as the Colonel alluded, David Hensley's in here with us also this morning. David, of course, a member of the school board. Good morning, David.
Good morning, everyone.
Didn't make you have to put your paper down.
No, I was just catching up on the, I was verifying your weather with the weather app, and you were spot on. Looks like...
I'm the one that's always right. It's the TV weather guys that are wrong.
Yeah.
They sit there and they keep wanting to embellish what's really going to happen, you know. Oh, we could see icy bridge out there, and they go out and they find a little handrail with a little bit of ice on it, and they'll say, see, this is ice. This could build up on the roads. You need to listen to us. Otherwise, you may die out here.
Yeah, we need to come up with a catchy name like the AccuWeather forecast with storm Doppler radar and get some sort of fake Doppler radar thing rotating on top of
We used to call it the Doppler radar weather forecast.
Well, I'm glad to be here at the 7:30 edition of Radio Free Southern Pines.
You finally got up early, huh?
I did. It's got a different kind of vibe. I came in here and you guys were like zombies.
I wasn't a zombie. I was getting a show ready, and Colonel sitting there enjoying his fine brew of coffee.
Yeah, he hadn't quite caffeinated enough, I don't think, when I showed
I was
up.
just getting started. I was reading the news.
Oh, my goodness.
Reading about Dr. Mengele and his experiments on kids.
Yeah, you know, so it went from Wuhan gain of function experiments on viruses. By the way, it took me a while to figure out what gain of function was, and here's what it is in a nutshell. So you got a virus that affects only like bats or ants or whatever. So you got a virus that only affects bats, and you go, gosh, you know, if we just like tweak this gene and tweak that gene, then maybe we can get it to infect humans.
Right, yeah.
So first of all, who thinks that's a good idea?
No,
right?
yeah, nobody.
Right,
Literally
right.
no one.
No one except Fauci, right? So here's what's crazy. That experimentation used to happen up at UNC Chapel Hill.
Right.
And then it was either declared illegal or unethical, but for whatever reason, the United States banned it. You know, I don't know if it was a law or it was just an ethics practice, but no more gain of function research in the United States, because what could possibly go wrong if you're taking viruses that affect, say, ferrets, and you modify it so it affects humans? What could possibly go wrong? So we stopped doing it in the United States, and what's Fauci do in the National Institutes of Health? He takes our tax money and he gives it to the Chinese to do the same research in Wuhan, China. What could possibly go wrong? You know, at least here we had good control and, you know, ethical people working.
Yeah, modern art facilities, which do not exist in China.
Yeah, well, you know, they may have been doing it in that wet market. Remember all that wet market nonsense and all that stuff? You know, anyway, so it comes out that Fauci and National Institute of Health did, in fact, not rumored, they did, in fact, finance gain-of-function research in China.
They did.
Then it comes out that Fauci has funded all these experiments on dogs.
Yes.
You know, where like they tied him up.
Beagles.
Yeah, they tortured
40,000 beagles.
Yeah, like operating on them while they're still like awake. It's like Mengele, like the Joseph Mengele of the United States.
And he did monkeys too. He tortured them.
Then so he did this gain of function stuff. Then it comes out he tortured puppies to death. Then he did monkeys and other primates. And then it comes out they did. Fauci and the National Institute of Health did AIDS drug testing on orphan children who were wards of the state in New York.
Yes.
He is truly the Joseph Mengele of the United States.
Yeah, he should be charged with all kinds of high crimes and misdemeanors, etc. He's horrible.
It just keeps coming out about this guy.
Well, we reward him being the highest paid person on the United States payroll.
You cannot make this stuff up, but the media just continues to defend him, to defend him. He's Biden's guy, Biden's guy.
Listen to him about masks. Listen to him about vaccines, etc. People, because he's smart. He's done all the experimentation necessary to know what he's talking about. Frickin' devil doctor, Jesus!
I swear, when I first saw, I don't know, 6 months or so ago, I saw someone call him Mengele, and I'm like, that's a bit much. I mean, the whole Nazi thing's crazy and overplayed, but you know what? This last week, it's become crystal clear that man is Joseph Mengele.
No, that's why I've been calling him Dr. Faustus from day one.
Yep.
Day one,
Yep.
Dr.
Colonel,
Faustus. He sold his soul to the devil.
Yep, you called it.
I mean,
go ahead. Mind. No, I was just going to make
you had some stuff you wanted to talk about with
So yesterday, we were talking about the importance of municipal elections, and I made a few points about nonpartisan elections are a fallacy. I've got a few more things about that, but first, you made an interesting comment towards the end about municipal elections being farm teams.
Yes, exactly. Yes, they're the springboard. They're the bench for our GOP and the Democrats to pick people and select them for higher office for various committees and commissions here in Moore County and the state, et cetera. So it's very important that you look at all of these nonpartisan races and make sure that you've got the people that represent your beliefs and make sure they get elected, because otherwise, it's nonpartisan. I'm in Whispering Pines. There's not much partisan to be done in Whispering Pines. You have certain, you got to redo a road. How about a walking path? You got some dams that need some attention, new truck, this and that. That's all nonpartisan. Those are necessary things. But the thing is, when you elect certain individuals, liberals, Democrats, and put them in there, now all of a sudden they get the attention for higher office, for a county commissioner, for these like the airport commission or committee,
or the election commission,
yes,
whatnot.
and there they are. Oh well, they're a successful candidate there, so they there shouldn't be a Democrat elected in Moore County. Period.
Right.
Anywhere.
Well, and that is a good point. Let's take. The Colonel just said there shouldn't be a Democrat elected anywhere in Moore County. Well, let's take Whispering Pines. As we said yesterday, Whispering Pines is 12% registered Democrats. Whispering Pines has an extreme left-wing, extreme hardcore Democrat mayor. I mean, my God. Anyway, and how did that happen? Well, nonpartisan races allow sheep in wolves' clothing to infiltrate our ranks. And, Exhibit A is the previous school board. You had Libby Carter, Betty Brown, and I think a couple others, but I definitely remember Libby Carter and my opponent, Betty Brown. They were lifelong Democrats.
Yes.
They were lifelong Democrats. They voted Democrat their entire life. They changed their registration right before the election.
Right.
They paid, look, I'm a Republican, and then they got elected overwhelmingly posing as Republicans, because Democrats cannot get elected by saying what they are and what they're going to do.
Well, it's a nonpartisan election, so when they show up on the ballot, it's in some alphabetical order.
Well, what it does, the thing that nonpartisan elections do, they do two things. One is, the most important thing is, that's bad, is it bypasses the primary system and challenges.
Exactly.
So, for example, if Betty Brown, if it would have been a nonpartisan election and she said, I'm running as a Republican, someone would have challenged her and she would have never been on the ballot as a Republican. She would have had to reveal what she is.
Exactly.
And again, the only way these people can get elected is by concealing what they are and fooling the electorate. And low information voters, look, people are busy, people have other interests, I understand that, but they get in there and they don't know who is the Republican or who's the Democrat. And it's important because if somebody has a Republican or a Democrat next to their name, that means they represent something. That means they represent, to some degree, a set of values. So it does two things, nonpartisan elections. It bypasses the primary system, which is the biggest filter to keep out, fakers. That's what they are, sheep in wolf clothing. And two, it allows them to fool the vast majority of the electorate who don't know, who don't pay attention. They go in and go, Betty Brown, that's a nice sounding name, and that's how they vote. So it's all partisan elections are 100% set up to favor the Democrats so they can get in there by fooling the electorate. Then once they get in there, they govern to the far left. Or they certainly left of center. They certainly don't govern the way they run,
right?
And that's how we end up with.
And it really, if you look at it, if the party, if the GOP, and if the electorate at large would do their homework, they would see these things. But hey, we're all fat, dumb, and happy out here. Don't care.
You really can't blame the people because again, they have other interests. I'm interested in politics because I find it interesting. I care who governs us. So you really can't blame the people. But it's up to us to educate them. It's up to us to do as individual citizens or collective as members of a party to do everything we can to educate the electorate, whether it's getting on the radio, whether it's getting a Facebook following, whether it's sending mailings out to your fellow citizens to alert them. Those are all good things that good citizens do to educate their fellow citizens as to what's going on.
Another prime example of that is Helen Walla Miller, who was Democrat and then only registered as a Republican just when we had the Grimacy issue up front, when she started all the hullabaloo to get Grimacy rehired.
Staged the coup.
Staged the coup.
Yeah.
And then you find out she's still directing things behind, even after having been exposed and excised from the board, she's still sending emails and directing the superintendent and Carter as to how to operate.
I cannot wait till the next school board election because, we got a mountain of stuff, right? And damning stuff.
Right.
And like the Colonel just alluded to, Helena Wallen Miller, extreme leftist, got resoundingly booted off the Board of Education in the last election, like crushed. Like Bob Levy just like splat roadkill, right? So there's emails that have been gotten through public records requests that Helena Wallen Miller, it was back when they were talking policies. So, everyone's outraged about that governor in Virginia, McAuliffe, the guy who's running for governor, who said parents should have no say in the education of their children. Well, guess who else said that?
Yeah, Helen Wallen Miller.
And guess who she said it to? Ed Dennison and Libby.
And where's she from?
Yeah,
she's from
Fairfax, Virginia. Yeah. So that's what we have. We have Helena Wallen Miller, who moved down here from Fairfax, Virginia, changed her registration. I think I'd have to verify. The reason I didn't have her, I'm pretty sure she did. But
she was a Democrat when she first got down here and changed it. North Carolina. I don't know what she was in Virginia.
I just can't say with certainty. But anyway, so she comes down here. She gets, she stages a coup of the school board. She gets in there, does all this horrible leftist stuff because they fooled people.
Right.
And Democrats cannot get elected unless they fool people. Right. And they get in there and they do panorama. They bring down the innovate. Everyone remember this? They bring down and by the way, when they were doing surveys, folks, cover your children's ears. Cover your children's ears. But remember when they were doing the last school board, the central office has not had the gonads to bring this up because they did the youth risk behavior survey.
Yes.
The previous school board did the youth risk behavior survey. And parents, you've had plenty of time. This is your last warning. They would ask our children, our students, questions like, how many partners do you prefer when you have sex?
Yes.
What gender do you prefer your sexual partners to be? Male, female, both, or I don't care? These were the type of questions that Helena Wallen Miller, Libby Carter, Ed Dennison were cool asking our children.
Yeah, they thought those questions were appropriate to ask your kids.
Yeah, and then, that's just the tip of the iceberg. They were asking middle schoolers, have you ever ridden in a car where someone was, where you were not wearing wearing a seatbelt? In other words, do your parents make you wear your
Rat your
seatbelt?
parents out, right.
Or have you ever ridden in a car where alcohol has been consumed? In other words, has your mother ever had a glass of wine as she was, driving through the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
So these are the sort of things.
Well, we know one person that can answer that.
Yeah,
So you were driving a golf cart through
I
that.
have zero comment on that.
Yes, I know. I have to look up the answers for that survey.
But see, that's another thing is we could look up the answers to that survey because in violation of Moore County school policy, those surveys are not anonymous, and they announced it 2 or 3 meetings ago. The central office, the survey, we kind of know about that policy, but they're not really anonymous. We don't think the people of Moore County really care about their students. Anyway, so they get in there and they do that crap. But the point, don't forget that, remember, under the previous school board, everything was, what is Wake County doing? What is Wake County schools? They were bringing consultants down from Wake County schools so they could just implement all this leftism. But the point is, Colonel, Steve, is they ran as Republicans. They had to fool people, and that's what they're doing in these municipal elections. Oh, getting back to Helena Wallen-Miller, I got to close the loop. People complain I never close the loop on stuff. So I can't wait till the next elections because there's this email. It's a perfect email that when they were doing policy committee and Bob Levy was introducing his policy, Helena Wallen-Miller sent an email to Libby Carter and Ed Dennison telling her views on everything and how they should vote. If you look at her emails, there was the policy committee meeting, then there was Helena Wallen-Miller's email, then there was a board meeting. And if you look at Helena Wallen-Miller's points and you look at the video of what Ed and Libby said, they were using her talking points.
Yeah, and she's writing this stuff for Ed.
Right.
Because Ed's not smart enough to write that stuff for himself. I said it, not you.
Look at Libby, man.
Yeah.
Libby,
Well,
if Libby's not
yeah.
reading a prepared statement or in an editorial that she supposedly wrote, she does not. If Libby's not reading a prepared statement, she does not come across very smart. So if someone hands her something and says, hey, read this, then she's okay. Outside of that, anyway, in that email, and it was echoed by Ed and Libby, Helena Wallen-Miller said, people who do not have children in Moore County schools should not have a say in Moore County schools. So if you're appalled by what McAuliffe said in Virginia, well, guess what? Your former chair of the Moore County School Board said it and issued those instructions to Libby Carter and Ed Dennison, who echoed it in a school board meeting.
And voted exactly as she said in the email.
Right. So anyway, that's what they do. They come down here, they fool the electorate, and they do it under the guise of these nonpartisan races. Same thing in Southern Pines. They run as, we're nonpartisan. Yeah, then they do stuff like spend our money on forest bathing and political.
What time's your
paybacks.
appointment today?
I'm a lone wolf forest bather. I prefer to go out there myself and just bathe
Commune
myself.
in nature by yourself.
Yes, I'm a lone wolf communer.
Yeah.
So the question is, here's the question. We know what they do, and we know they've been successful. We know that the former purple-haired mayor of Whispering Pines got into power. We know that at Southern Pines, you got Carol Haney, Mike Sonyer, Mr. Murphy, and look, I'm not like Mr. Murphy. I like him. I mean, look, just because. Anyway, so you get all these leftists on the city council, and they govern that way. And we know that they're successful in fooling people. So what are we going to do? What are we, the people? What are Republicans and unaffiliated people and libertarians going to do to stop this nonsense? All we have to do is show up and vote.
Right.
Because I'm here to tell you, the leftists and the Democrats have a machine. The Democrats may only be 27% of Southern Pines, but they're going to get 90% of their voters out there.
Yes.
And they count on the Republicans and unaffiliated just kind of being apathetic and being busy with their lives and shuffling along.
Especially in off-cycle elections, which is what happened in Virginia. They're off-cycle. We're off-cycle on our unaffiliated, nonpartisan stuff in the
So what are we going to do about it? Well, I'll tell you what I've done about it. I've done everything I can to let my friends and neighbors know.
Yes.
I've sent out mailings, to people in Southern Pines because that's my town, and the unaffiliated people need to know. Look, here are people who stand. Here are people who are truly rooted in the community. They have young children in our schools. They're entrepreneurs. They're truly vested in the community, and they're people in their 30s and 40s with young families who I know are going to be fiscally responsible and, probably socially, further to the left, but that's okay. I want fiscally responsible people. I want people with young families with kids in our schools. So what we got to do is we got to go out en masse and we got to vote to let them know that this sheep and wolf's clothing, we're no longer going to be the apathetic people who don't think it's important. So what we're going to do is we're going to show up en masse next Tuesday and we're going to vote.
Yeah, you got to get out and vote, people. Anybody, hey, it's off-cycle election time here in Moore County, people. You need to wake up. You need to take a look at who's running in these nonpartisan races. You need to do a little research on them. Doesn't take much. And you need to get in there and vote. And you need to vote for the conservative people, because we have too many outside people that have moved in, especially Pinehurst. Pinehurst are really bad.
Oh my God.
Well, it's a transient, it is a late cycle, older people coming down to retire, etc. It's always been that. A little less so now with some of the build up here with the Army, but so you do always have a lot of people moving in from other places, but you really have to pay attention. Pinehurst in particular, man, you got some people over there. Wow.
I am so glad I don't have to vote in Pinehurst, because I don't know. Out of that 4, there's one person I would vote for, and I'm not sure. I think I would just mark one person and move on with my life. I don't think I could choose a second person. But anyway, getting back, it is important. And what we can't allow to happen is we can't allow Democrats in Whispering Pines, who only are 12% of the voters, but they get their slate elected. Southern Pines, 27% of the vote. I think I said 24% earlier, but it's 27%. But a very small minority of voters that belong to that party. And we just need to show up en masse. We need to tell our friends and neighbors. We need to print out flyers. We need to go door to door, because all we have to do is show up at the polls and we win. Right. And I'm telling you, the leftists are counting on 2 things. They're counting on the vast majority of Republicans and unaffiliated to stay home, and they're counting on those that go to the polls to be fooled by these Democrats who are appearing and pretending to be moderate when in fact they're not.
Well, I would say to them also that if you don't show up and vote, quit bitching about what you get.
If you didn't vote, you can't bitch.
Yeah.
Gosh. So
one thing I want, this is a break point here.
Sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
I want to go back to what we were talking about before.
Yes, sir.
With the COVID.
Yes, sir.
Can we do that?
Absolutely.
All right. I ran into a wonderful seminar yesterday by a doctor who was giving out, he says the hydrochloroquine, you can get that if you use the compounds and get your pharmacy to compound it. And he gave us a website called My Free Doctor, and it is free, a free doctor. You give a contribution if you use it, if you can. But they'll write prescriptions to your pharmacy, a compounding pharmacy, to get this stuff done. You don't bother with the box stores because they won't do it. What's the other? Ivermectin?
Ivermectin.
They give you the stuff for that. And they'll also give you natural plant-based plants that the ivermectin and the hydrochloroquine comes from that you can take. So might be worth checking out if you got that kind of situation.
The important thing about that is a doctor has been treating or has treated congressmen and their staffs and their families, over 200 of them, with ivermectin. Been prescribing ivermectin in our U.S. Capitol all along for this stuff. Yeah. And you can't get it. or have a very difficult time getting a prescription for it. That's what really grabs me. And the doctors out there, they keep cutting his Twitter feed and all that kind of thing, so nobody knows about it. But he's been doing it. Ivermectin, U.S. Congress.
We are tracking beautiful conditions for today. Highs heading and lower 70s. Overnight falling into the upper 40s with increasing clouds. A few showers possible into the afternoon on Thursday. But as we head into Thursday night, we have a better chance of seeing some stronger to severe thunderstorms roll through, with damaging wind speeds being the main threats, and an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out, especially for areas to the south and east. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Broadcasting from the top of the North Carolina Sandhills, 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB, Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Aberdeen.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Just 6 days to Election Day in Virginia. The race for governor capturing the national spotlight. Republican Glenn Youngkin, Democrat Terry McAuliffe running neck and neck, according to the polls. And hoping to tip the balance in his favor, McAuliffe hosted President Biden at a campaign rally yesterday in heavily blue Northern Virginia. Previously, McAuliffe admitted that Mr. Biden's sagging popularity is a drag on his campaign. No agreement yet among Democrats on a compromise version of President Biden's $1.75 trillion social spending plan remains a subject of solid Republican opposition. Final agreement may not be reached before the president departs tomorrow for a pair of summits in Europe.
Several Democratic leaders met with Biden at the White House Tuesday. Afterwards, Representative Joyce Beatty, who chairs the Congressional Black Caucus, was sounding confident. But the Democrats are struggling to reduce some programs and eliminate others. And Representative Pramila Jayapal, who chairs the Congressional Progressive Caucus, cautioned yet again.
Nothing's agreed to until everything's agreed to.
And that report from correspondent Mike Gracia. Is the Pfizer COVID vaccine safe for younger kids? Dr. Eric Rubin, a voting member of an FDA advisory panel, says, quote, "We're never going to learn about how safe the vaccine is until we start giving it," adding, that's just the way it goes. The FDA panel has endorsed a smaller size dose of the Pfizer vaccine for youngsters 5 to 11 years of age. The CDC will get the final word. We'll soon be hearing from investigators discussing initial findings in the fatal movie set shooting in which Alec Baldwin fired a prop gun, killing a cinematographer, wounding the movie's director. News conference scheduled for later today by the Santa Fe County Sheriff and District Attorney. We could get word on whether any criminal charges will be filed. Wall Street, Dow futures up 18 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Tell me why Relief Factor is so successful in lowering or eliminating pain. I'm often asked that question. Pete and Seth Talbot, the father and son founders of Relief Factor, tell me they believe our bodies were designed to heal. The doctors who formulated Relief Factor selected the 4 best ingredients, 100% drug-free ingredients that each help your body deal with inflammation. Order the 3-week quick start now. Discount it to only $19.95 to see if it will work for you too. Call 800-500-8384. ReliefFactor.com.
Right now, people are home with their pets more often, and I think now, especially with the shedding, they're more cognizant of what's going on and that it's an actual issue, and Dynovite has helped tremendously in our house with that.
I just heard the Dynovite commercial so many times, I said, you know what, I'll give it a shot, and I ordered it and tried it, and it worked.
The Dynovite, the being at home, working with them, they all love it.
Me and Chewy are together 24/7.
Within 3 weeks, he's not scratching and itching, and he's an all-around happier dog.
DINOVITE.com.
India's Supreme Court clearing the way for an investigation of allegations the government used Israeli-made spyware to snoop on journalists, critics, and opposition politicians.
A committee headed by a former Supreme Court judge has been given 8 weeks to investigate claims that spyware, known as Pegasus, was used to illegally snoop on critics of India's government. The phone numbers of activists, politicians, and journalists were on a database linked to clients of the Israeli firm NSO, which developed the software. In announcing an inquiry, India's Chief Justice, N.V. Ramana, said allegations of a violation of privacy needed to be examined and that technology may be having a chilling effect on press freedom in India.
The BBC's Rajini Vaidyanathan. Sudan's supposed prime minister and his wife have been allowed to return home a day after they were detained when the military seized power in a coup. News and analysis, townhall.com. Democrats reportedly working on a plan to tax the unrealized gains of wealthy investors.
Iowa Senator Joni Ernst says she's no fan of the plan to tax investors on their theoretical gains.
Stocks or other assets like real estate, where they actually haven't seen any money yet.
Ernst tells the Salem Radio Network the value of such investments can decline as well as increase.
Well, how do you do that? And what happens if you lose money in your stock portfolio? Does the government give you money back?
Ernst says such a tax would severely impact farmers in her state, where many families are land rich but cash poor. Bob Agnew reporting.
Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee going to bat for essential workers, authoring a bill that would protect them from being fired over vaccine mandates. It's called the Keeping Our COVID-19 Heroes Employed Act, co-sponsored by a half dozen other senators, all of them Republicans. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Thanks for help bringing the economy back. One local purchase at a time.
Kind of uplifts you and you feel better.
It's the greatest comeback of all time. With Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB.
Aberdeen Prescription Shop is now open to walk in the shop, and the drive-through window and free delivery is still available. All major insurance is accepted, including TRICARE. Order your prescriptions online at AberdeenRxShop.com and click on mobile for the free app, or call 944-1313. Aberdeen Prescription Shop in the Town and Country Shopping Center on US 1. Now open for walk-ins, and wear your mask.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Pine Lawn Memorial Park in Southern Pines is proud to announce our new Fountain of Faith Columbaria. This new final resting place marble installation features a righteous eagle in flight, accompanied by a peaceful and calming water fountain. With our communities and families in mind, Pine Lawn Memorial Park is offering exclusive savings opportunities of over $1,000 to those who reserve their space in this elegant feature in Moore County's only perpetual care cemetery. Space is limited, so call today to schedule a tour and learn how you can save over $1,000 on customizable granite niche options or how to transfer your existing plans. Call 910-692-6801 or visit pinelawnmemorial.com. Don't miss out on this exclusive and limited time savings opportunity. Call 910-692-6801 or go online today and see why more families prefer Pines.
At Pool Automotive, being local and family-owned isn't just a title. It's the lifeblood of our business. The moment you walk into our Aberdeen showroom, you'll be treated like family. You see, we believe that all our guests deserve quality, reliable used vehicles, and we have the inventory and finance options to make it happen. When you buy a new vehicle, the second you drive it off the lot, it's already depreciated by thousands. Before you throw that money away, come to Pool Automotive and check out our huge selection of premium vehicles. We have high-quality, off-lease vehicles, most of which are one-owner cars with low mileage and remaining factory warranties. Something else we do to save you even more? We don't charge documentation fees. Yep, you heard us right. No doc fees here. Come in today, 500 South Sandhills Boulevard in Aberdeen, or call 910-637-0057 and experience the pool advantage.
This is the perfect time of the year to bust out all your Echo tools and equipment from Beaver Equipment. Thanks to all the storms, my new Echo chainsaw from Beaver Equipment has been getting a good workout. Beaver Equipment is the place to go for rough and rugged Echo equipment for real men. They offer 5-year warranties and are locally owned and operated. So men, get out there and enjoy your Echo Power equipment from Beaver Equipment, Highway 211 in Aberdeen, 910-944-0402.
Hi, this is Rich Wagner from Whispering Pines. I've been suffering with acute back and knee pain for many months, and after trying visits to the doctor, painkillers, and spinal injections with no relief, I went to see Dr. Wright at Wright Chiropractic in Seven Lakes. After the first visit, I noticed a lot of improvement, and I've continued to improve with each treatment. Thanks to Dr. Wright, I'm feeling much better than I have in a very long time. I was skeptical about chiropractic treatment at first, but it has truly given me my life back.
This is Dr. Wright. I can't guarantee I can fix every problem, but I will tell you honestly whether chiropractic can be of help for your particular issue. Living with pain is not always the only option. Doesn't it make sense to explore every avenue before resigning yourself to the limitations of pain? Call our office today to schedule a consultation and start living again. 673-2225.
Vaccine advisors said the U.S. Food and Drug Administration voted 17-0 with one abstention on Tuesday to recommend Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine in children 5 to 11, and parents in North Carolina are getting a jump on getting their kids vaccinated. Pediatrician Dr. R. Friedrichs tells ABC 11.
There have been kids who've died of the S Delta variant, so it's not benign. That's a significant risk to them. So that's the reason I'm recommending the vaccine.
Dr. John Sanders is head of infectious diseases at Wake Forest Baptist Hospital. He tells NCI News.
We've seen data coming out from the Pfizer studies, and we will see more data coming out from the Moderna studies, and it certainly looks very safe for kids in that age range.
The spread of COVID-19 has dropped substantially in North Carolina in recent weeks. The latest statistics released by the state health officials on Tuesday show cases and hospitalizations at their lowest levels in about 3 months. Investigators in Santa Fe, New Mexico will have more to say today about the deadly shooting on the set of an upcoming Alec Baldwin movie. CBS News correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti has details.
We do know from a police affidavit that plenty of ammunition was found unsecured on set. Some kept loose, others in a fanny pack, but what type of ammunition remains unclear at this point.
The Atlanta Braves beat the Houston Astros 6-2 in Game 1 of the World Series last night. Atlanta got off to a fast start with a home run by their leadoff hitter and never let up. Outfielder Adam Duvall hit a 2-run homer in the top of the third inning that made the score 5-0. Here's a call by Fox Sports play-by-play announcer Joe Buck.
This one is a rocket into left and gone. 5-0 Atlanta here in the third inning as Duvall goes deep.
You're listening to NCI News.
I got the vaccine to protect myself.
Because COVID-19 is still spreading.
All the patients I take care of with COVID-19 have one thing in common.
They have not gotten their vaccine.
The vaccines were proven safe and effective in clinical trials with thousands of people.
That's why I tell my friends and family to get theirs.
I'll take feeling achy for a day or two over going to the hospital or dying any day.
Don't wait.
Go to myspot.nc.gov
to get your free COVID vaccine.
Sponsored by NCDHHS.
Hey, I'm Katie Webster with North Carolina Emergency Management. Severe weather can happen throughout the year in North Carolina. You can protect yourself and your loved ones by being prepared. Have a family emergency plan. Assemble an emergency kit with a 3-day supply of non-perishable food and water. Download an emergency alert app, have a weather alert radio, and listen to local weather reports. Go to readync.org for more severe weather safety tips. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Public Safety.
Legislation has been introduced in Congress that would offer children new protection while riding in vehicles.
It would bring the most sweeping safety rules for child booster seats in more than 2 decades. The new legislation push comes after a congressional probe found that manufacturers misled parents about the safety of booster seats and endangered children's lives. Federal highway safety regulators would have to create mandatory tests for booster seats that mimic side impact crashes. Boosters currently only have to undergo crash tests that simulate a head-on collision. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
The country continues to feel new effects of the COVID-19 pandemic as Halloween stores struggle to stock their shelves. Lisa Cartwright owns a Halloween store in Greenville and told WITN.
What I've done now is just went through and did an order, and I'm like, if someone wants some, I'm like, hold on. I look it up. I'm like, they've got it. Yes, it's coming, or we cannot get that. We want to get you what you want. That's what we're known for. We're known for getting what you need.
North Carolinians are feeling the pain at the gas pump this week. AAA says North Carolina is tied with Florida for the biggest jump in gas prices over the past week, with the average cost going up by 14 cents. Much of the Northeast is still feeling the effects of the season's first nor'easter.
The October nor'easter packed a punch in eastern Massachusetts. Peak wind gusts hit 80 miles per hour in some towns, knocking out power to thousands.
It's coming through the chimney, so you can hear it.
Trees were toppled, landing on houses, roads, and this one trapped a woman in her car, forcing firefighters to free her. Millions of people from New Jersey to Maine are now in day 2 of weather-related problems.
And given these winds, no one should be surprised if they lose power.
Flooding Tuesday closed roadways in New York, and high winds toppled trees.
Mike Rayleigh, NTN News.
We are tracking beautiful conditions for today. Highs in the upper 60s and lower 70s, overnight falling into the upper 40s. Once we head into tomorrow, you'll notice increasing clouds, highs in the mid 60s and lower 70s. A few showers possible into the afternoon, but later on Thursday night, we have a better chance of seeing some stronger to severe thunderstorms roll through into our area. Some moisture could linger around into Friday. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Right now here in the Sand Hills area, it's clear, 47 degrees, humidity 68%, 2.35, pressure's 29.62, and winds are west-northwest at 2. It is 8:14. Let's take a look at your Sand Hills news for this Wednesday hump day. Well, if you're a skateboarder in Southern Pines, things are about to possibly change as the town is looking to update the town's ordinance. The Southern Pines Town Council on October 25th heard a presentation by Assistant Town Manager Jessica Rolfe addressing residents' concerns about skateboarders. Under the new proposal, a pedestrian district would be established in the historic downtown shopping area where skateboards would be prohibited except for the basketball court in the downtown park. The rules would be relaxed in other public areas and permit skateboards on sidewalks and streets. The town is planning for a public hearing in December to solicit public feedback and vote on it at a later date. A motorcyclist suffered non-life-threatening injuries after crashing her motorcycle on Mill Road in Jackson Springs Tuesday morning. According to the Highway Patrol, the woman driver of the motorcycle tried to pass a Chevrolet Silverado pickup truck in a no-passing zone. The driver of the Silverado attempted to turn left onto Curry Mill Road as the motorcycle was passing. The driver of the Silverado was uninjured. Troopers say the motorcyclist was taken to the hospital by helicopter as a precaution, but did suffer a leg injury. She will be charged with passing over a solid double line in the accident. And First Health of the Carolinas, Nurse Keely Sanchez Ingram has been honored with the Daisy Award for July 21st. Sanchez Ingram, who worked in the GI lab at Moore Regional Hospital, was nominated by the family member of a patient. The Daisy Award is the award for extraordinary nurses, as established by the Daisy Foundation, a nonprofit based in Glen Ellen, California. That's your latest Sand Hills news this morning, but stand by. Here comes all your latest in sports. Right here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM, WEEB. It's 8:17.
The Morning Sports Report is brought to you by Hughes Supply of Pinehurst. With over 50 years' experience, Hughes Supply can handle all your plumbing project needs from start to finish. Call 910-295-5541 or visit them online at HughesSupplyPinehurst.com.
NTN Sports, I'm Josh Zack. We start with history in Houston.
The Atlanta Braves took control early.
Here's one slammed into left field. How about that start to the World Series?
Colon Fox, the very first hitter, Jorge Soler, hit the ball over the fence. The first time in World Series history that Game 1 has started with a home run. The Braves were not finished. Atlanta scored again in the first, one more time in the second, then in the third.
This one is a rocket into left and gone.
Adam Duvall's two-run homer gave Atlanta a 5-0 lead. The Astros could never come back. Atlanta takes Game 1 6-2. Steve Futterman, CBS News at the World Series in Houston.
Game 2 tonight in H-Town. The Astros will send Jose Urquidy to the mound. The Braves will counter with Max Fried. NBA action last night. Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook each had big double-doubles as the Lakers rolled to an overtime win in San Antonio, 125-121. Davis had 35 points and 17 boards, while Westbrook added 33 points and 10 rebounds. 15 of Westbrook's points came in the fourth quarter and OT as LeBron James missed last night's game against the Spurs.
Especially with Brian being out, we understand that with that comes responsibility of making guys around us better. And tonight, I thought AD did a great job of just being aggressive all night, missing makes, finishing well around the basket. It was big for us.
LeBron is also questionable for tonight's game at OKC. The Thunder, meanwhile, are licking their wounds after coughing up a 12-point lead in the third quarter last night en route to a 106-98 loss to Golden State. Steph Curry scored 23 points as the Warriors rallied on the road to remain unbeaten. Tonight, the Hornets are in Orlando for a 7 o'clock tip. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says the league will not issue a report on its 10-month investigation into allegations the Washington football team engaged in harassment and abuse. Goodell said the league would not make the investigation public because of its promise to protect the identities of those who testified. This is NCN Sports.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops in 2020 and 2021. Our philosophy is simple. Be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
North Carolina retailers are the backbone of the local economy, and now you hold the power to help them rebound faster by spending your dollars in North Carolina. Our retailers' first priority is the health and safety of their employees and customers. So please be patient with retail employees, especially if they ask you to wear a mask. In most cases, they are required by law. The NC Retail Merchants Association proudly represents these dedicated retailers and encourages you to shop smart and shop NC. Learn more at ncrma.org.
The Seattle Kraken beat the bumbling Montreal Canadiens 5-1 last night to notch their first home win in franchise history. The Habs, meanwhile, are off to a rough start, just 1-6 after reaching the Stanley Cup Finals last season. Blackhawks GM and president of hockey operations Stan Bowman has resigned after an investigation found he was among a group of leaders who failed to promptly respond to allegations that an assistant coach sexually assaulted a player in 2010. The ACC on Tuesday said its board of directors is looking at options to relocate its headquarters outside of Greensboro. Commissioner Jim Phillips previously said the league was limiting its evaluation solely to Greensboro in a first phase, but now the league admits it is expanding the evaluation to include cities elsewhere. Board chair and Duke president Vincent Price says Greensboro will be given thorough consideration to remain the home of the league offices, where it was founded in 1953. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
The greatest comeback of all time is underway. Remember to shop local businesses. A reminder from Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB.
When it comes to Medicare, choose hometown coverage created by hometown people. First Medicare Direct offers comprehensive plans for as low as $0 a month and includes extras like dental, vision, hearing, prescription benefits, and more. Plus, when you have questions, you never need to go far. We have a local office in Pinehurst. Compare plans at firstmedicare.com/FMD22 or visit our local office to learn more. First Carolina Care Insurance Company is a health plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in First Carolina Care depends on contract renewal.
Fast, fresh, and always great tasting, the Daily Combo Special from Honey Baked Ham for only $7.99. A terrific and tasty lunch sandwich from Honey Baked Ham, accompanied by a side and drink for only $7.99. Make it a Honey Baked Ham day with their $7.99 combo.
War Dogs Army Surplus is Moore County's largest selection of Army surplus. They buy, sell, and trade Army surplus, and they'll match any legitimate offer from competitors with a price match guarantee. They'll match and beat any competitor's price by 10%. With the largest selection of vintage and modern gear and collectibles, War Dogs has everything you're looking for. Open Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. 675 Southwest Broad Street in Southern Pines, or call 910-920-7749. That's 910-920-7749. War Dogs. We offer more and sell for less.
Days are getting cooler, leaves are changing colors, and pumpkin lattes are beckoning us at every corner. It's fall, y'all, making it the perfect time to get ready for the holiday season. And Aberdeen Carpet has got you covered with the beautiful sale from Shaw. Spruce up your home and save up to $1,000 on select Shaw flooring now through November 15th. Whatever it is you're looking for, Shaw Floors has it. Hurry into Aberdeen Carpet today, located on Highway 5 in Aberdeen, near Habitat for Humanity. Open 9 to 4 Monday through Friday and 9 to 2 on Saturday. Visit us online at aberdeencarpet.com or call 910-944-6204 to schedule your free estimate. The dog days of summer are here. And the last few years, we've had hot and sweaty weather into October. So buy a new Carrier heating and cooling system now from Comfort Services and continue to stay cool for the summer. Then later, enjoy Christmas with your new Carrier system to keep you warm. Stop by Comfort Services on Highway 5 near Habitat for Humanity in Aberdeen or call 910-695-2665. That's 695-2665.
Hey folks, Celeste here from Whispering Woods Golf Club. Come on out and see what all the buzz is about here at Whispering Woods Golf Club. We have some great rates going on until the end of November, so don't miss out on your opportunity to play Ellis Maple's one-of-a-kind gem here in the Sandhills. We are also offering our lifetime memberships. Come see me to see what we can do for you. Live the dream. Play affordable golf. We are also offering to our active and retired military memberships until the end of the year. $225 a month, unlimited, all-inclusive golf, or $800 if paid in full. So come on down to Whispering Woods Golf Club, located at 26 Sandpiper Drive, Whispering Pines, or give us a call at 910-949-4653. And don't forget, book it, Dano.
The 2021 Festival de Avion Celebration of Freedom in Flight is Friday, October 29th and Saturday the 30th. Friday gates open at 4 p.m. at the Moore County Airport for the Ultimate Eagles Tribute Band on the Border. Friday and Saturday combo tickets are $25. Friday only concert, just $15. Saturday opens at 10 a.m. for a full day of food trucks and fun with special events featuring military aircraft, jump teams, and many more. Go online to festivaldavion.com to get your event tickets at various costs. The 2021 Festival de Avion, Friday, October 29th, Saturday the 30th.
Cooper Ford in Carthage wants you to know that the price you see is the price you pay, with no addendums or hidden fees. In fact, you can't buy a new Ford for less anywhere else, and that's a personal guarantee from Aaron Cooper himself. And despite the complications brought on by the pandemic, Cooper Ford continues to pour back into the community it serves. Just off 15501 in Carthage or online at cooperford.net. Shop local at the locally owned, award-winning Cooper Ford. Always working hard to be your hometown dealer.
The Seven Lakes Wall of Honor will be unveiled on Saturday, November 13th. The black granite Wall of Honor will be etched with 250 military honorees. The dedication ceremony begins at 2 p.m. at the Seven Lakes Cemetery, located on McDougal Drive in Seven Lakes. The ceremony begins with an invocation, then is followed by a reading of the veterans' names inscribed on the Wall of Honor, and will conclude with a patriotic concert. This event will be free for our entire community. For more information about the day's events, pick up a copy of the August edition of Seven Lakes News or read it online at sevenlakesnews.com.
Well, congratulations, you got a new computer. But now comes the not-so-easy task of safely transferring all your files from your old computer to your new one.
No.
And do it in a logical way so you can find your new file. Why not let our super geek at WEEB Computer Repair do it for you? Just bring in your PCs or Macs into the WEEB studios on Midland Road and allow our super geek to extract all your files and properly place them on your new computer. WEEB Computer Repair, 690-9723, the home of the Super Geek.
We're proud to be working with our local businesses for the greatest comeback of all time.
Come together.
With Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB.
The Zumwalt Zone is proudly sponsored by Moore County Citizens for Freedom. Always looking out for you.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt Zone. Last night, Maureen called me. Her dog had cut her leg. It was a pretty deep cut, and Maureen was going to drive her to the emergency vet. I told her I'd meet her there, and I got up and drove over. The vet was wonderful. And even though the bill was 5 times higher than my very first car, it was well worth it. When you own an animal, you do what you have to do because in addition to your love for that pet, it's also your responsibility. The President of the United States has a responsibility to take care of us. By us, I mean you and me, citizens. He hadn't done that. Can you even fathom that he left hundreds of American citizens in Afghanistan? He shirked his responsibility, seems to be getting away with it. He's allowed tens of thousands of people from who knows where, many of them verified with COVID, and just turned them loose. We now hear about a caravan of thousands heading towards the border chanting his name. They love him. And you know what Biden's doing? He's building a wall, not to protect America. He's building a wall with your money around his beach house, and it will cost almost $500,000 for that wall. Would you like to get that contract? Maureen took her German Shepherd to the vet. She didn't think about the cost. She didn't think about the inconvenience. She took it out of love. That's what you do when you care about something. Biden has absolutely no love for this nation. How do I know? He's proved it. I hope everyone has a wonderful day from the Zoom Walk Zone.
We are tracking beautiful conditions for today. Highs heading into the upper 60s and lower 70s. Overnight falling into the upper 40s with increasing clouds. A few showers possible into the afternoon on Thursday. But as we head into Thursday night, we have a better chance of seeing some stronger to severe thunderstorms roll through, with damaging wind speeds being the main threats, and an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out, especially for areas to the south and east. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills' #1 morning show. Mornings with the LeaderMan. Here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
Wake up. Don't want to sleep through your big day.
Big day?
Hump day. Am I right?
What hump?
Hump.
I don't want to wake up.
Oh, cheer up. It's almost Halloween.
When is it? When is it? This weekend. This weekend.
That's my favorite holiday.
We love Halloween.
I'm going to make you hump day treats.
The show's about ready to start. It's showtime.
Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sandhills. Time once again for Mornings with the LeaderMan. I am Chief Leader Adams, along with the Colonel, retired Marine Colonel Jeff Drummond. Good morning, Colonel.
Hey, good morning, Moore County. Time once again for the truth and freedom that you only find here at WEEB, not at any other outlet. And it's too late for your walk. You're going to have to wait because John Zumwalt's here. He's got an interview for you, and you'll want to hear it. So stand by.
All right. Don't forget, we're being heard and seen around the world on a live video screen, and that's available to you at our website, talk973.com, or talk1041.com, or weeb990.com. Top middle of the page is where the link's located for the video and audio. If you just want audio by itself, that's available in the upper right-hand corner of our pages where it says on the air, listen live. It's going to be sunny today with a high of 70, right now 47 degrees. And on the line with us this morning is our treasurer, Dale Falwell. Good morning, Mr. Treasurer.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Fine. Of course, John is here with us also, John Zumwalt. John?
Well, good morning. Good morning, Treasurer. How you doing?
We're good. I thought when Steve was talking about the World Wide Web, he said on the screen, and I thought in the spirit of Halloween, he said scream.
Well, yeah. Okay, let me get...
Probably did.
Yeah. Well, I can't say either way. My hearing is getting worse and worse. I can't wear my hearing aids with these headphones, so now that I've confessed everything to everyone, let me start by saying, Treasurer, that over the last probably 6 months or so, just about everyone in Moore County has asked me to tell you hello, and I have not done it. So on behalf of about half the people in Moore County who have asked me to say hello, hello.
Well, thank you, Jay-Z. I love Moore County, and as some of your listeners know, my middle name is Robbins with 2 B's, and my great uncle was J.C. Robbins from the Aberdeen area, who helped start the Savings and Loan and ran the Aberdeen Hardware and was one of the founders of Sand Hills Community College. So I love the people of Moore County.
Well, there are 2 things. Treasurer Falwell is one of the busiest men in the state. He has a lot of responsibility. He's often he refers to himself as the keeper of the purse, and that means the keeper of the purse for all persons in Moore County. Okay, I've said that. Now I would like to ask you, in the time that we have this morning, and by the way, the treasurer is with us every other week on Wednesdays for a few minutes. Treasurer, I want to ask you first. We talked a little bit about this briefly the other day, about the IRS hiring people and the new legislation that's, I don't know if it's passed or not yet, but I believe it will pass. I don't know what you think, that will allow the IRS to monitor the bank accounts of America.
An unprecedented amount of increased regulations on small community banks, which are desperately needed, especially in rural North Carolina. My other great concern is that obviously what they're trying to do here is they're trying to make sure that they're capturing banking activity that, quote, has gone underground, the underground economy. And if they put this in place, it's going to drive more activity underground, not less. And we need to have policies in place that actually reward the right behavior and not punish the right behavior. And that's what this legislation pretends to do. They've increased it from a threshold of $600 to $10,000. We now have some very good research that shows that the average citizen has about $50,000 that comes through their account in terms of checking activity or banking activity every year. So this will basically capture everyone. And once again, if they're trying to get after the people who aren't paying their taxes or the underground economy and closing those gaps, that's something that I absolutely applaud. This tax collection system is a voluntary system that is where the federal authorities have the ability to audit people that they don't think are compliant. Any way that we can tighten that up is I'm all in favor of, but this is not the right way.
So you use the word surveillance, and I have a law enforcement background, and I know what probably most people know, and that is this, that if a police officer or law enforcement has some reason, some evidence to believe that you are doing something wrong, then they go through the proper channels and they launch whatever paperwork they might need to get the legal and lawful tools to do things like surveillance. They do not just look at people, just look at every single person, hoping that, okay, maybe we'll find someone who's done something wrong out of all these millions of people. You've been involved in an action, and I'm not prepared to put a name to it, but I know that you've joined with other treasurers to oppose this. Can you talk about that?
Yes, I'm a member of lots of organizations, but one is called SFOF, and that's the State Financial Officers Foundation, and it's a group of like-minded treasurers and controllers from across the country, and there are other treasurers who have led the charge regarding this IRS initiative from the administration. I'm not the one leading the charge, and as you can imagine, when we manage $250 billion at the Treasurer's Office, we get asked to sign on to a lot of things. And, for example, you saw a press release about Ben & Jerry's, and we're very concerned about all types of mandates that are coming down from big money managers. We're obviously concerned about this. So I get an opportunity to sign on to a lot of proposals and letters and proclamations, but this is one that I thought was in my wheelhouse. And it's very important for your listeners to know that, the two things they really need from public servants right now is, A, for them not to give answers where they don't know the right answer, and secondly, not to talk about things that are not within their duties and responsibilities. But this surveillance issue and this proposal by the administration to do this is exactly within the wheelhouse of the state treasurer, in addition to being the state banker, also chair of the State Banking Commission.
Well, since you mentioned Ben and Jerry's, I actually have it in my notes, and it's not a question 10, 15 years ago I would have ever thought that I would one day be asking the state treasurer, but as a huge supporter of Israel and a guy who used to buy Ben and Jerry's ice cream, you can kind of tell by my belly. Can you talk a little bit about the issue? What is the issue with Ben and Jerry's ice cream as it relates to the state of North Carolina Treasury?
I'm not a foreign affairs expert, but I am an expert on following the laws of North Carolina. And 3 or 4 years ago, I guess right when I was sworn in as state treasurer, there was a law passed in North Carolina that said that the state could not hold investments in companies that boycott the state of Israel. It's very clear. And Ben & Jerry's, I believe, last year came out and said, and I may not get this exactly right, because of Israel's moves toward the West Bank and Palestine, that Ben & Jerry's would no longer be selling ice cream in Israel, which means they were going to boycott Israel. I'm not the Secretary of State of the United States. I'm the state treasurer, but there's a law in the books that says that any company that does this, it doesn't have to be Ben & Jerry's, it could be any company, then we need to divest ourselves of any investments in that. Well, Ben & Jerry's is not a standalone company. It's part of one of the largest companies in the world called Unilever, that all of your listeners are very familiar with for their household products. So we do not divest the state pension plan of companies that threaten to boycott Israel. We only do it when they actually boycott Israel. So this is proposed. They're proposing to do this by the end of 2022. And if that were to occur, we're going to follow the law that was passed by the General Assembly.
Well, I know that this is a very conservative audience, and I think that most folks would applaud that. I've never, ever thought that it was my place to encourage people to boycott anything, but I want to say I stand with Israel, and I don't need Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Treasurer, before you go, I think one of the most popular and the most important things that we talk about on here, and it's one that I wish I could get folks to truly listen to and to really believe, because, as you know, I've gotten a fairly good sum of money. I'm not a multimillionaire from this, but I have gotten well over $1,000, and it took me about 2 or 3 minutes. I wish that everyone would go to this site and search it. I'm going to let you explain it, but I just want to be able to say this is not some pipe dream. This is real, and it's amazing. The longer you live, where you find money that you didn't know you had. So, do you mind going over that, Treasurer, and telling people the great opportunity that's there?
It's called nccash.com. The official word is the Escheats division, but I used to stutter, and I'm advised not to use that word in a sentence. I might not get invited back on your radio show. But there's $941 million sitting at nccash.com. And it's simply where somebody tried to mail you a check that you did not get or did not receive. So, for example, in the last 30 seconds since you brought this up, I punched up Moore County. The county of Moore has money at NC Cash. The Moore County EMS, the Moore County Republican Party, the Moore County Health Department, the Moore County Schools, Moore County, the NAACP of Moore County has money at nccash.com. There's hundreds and hundreds of entries of the Moore County ABC store has money at nccash.com. My point of saying this is not a gimmick. There's $941 million there. We've sent out $75 million last year. And as I said, it's a check that somebody either mailed you that you did not receive or you did not cash. It could have been a stock certificate that was lost from years ago when somebody gave it to you, or a small bank account that somebody opened for you when you were a child. So it's not a gimmick, and it's easy. People can go to nccash.com. Be sure to go to our official website, and I know, Jay-Z, you've told me I have a radio face, but my face is on this website. If you don't see my face, then you're on the wrong website. But go to this website, and you will be able to punch in your name or your maiden name or kids. The church, there's $1 million that belongs to churches. We just gave $80,000 to a trucking company in the Triad area that had money at nccash.com. So I advise all your listeners, it's just another valuable reason, in addition to the great country music, to listen to WEEB and go to nccash.com and look up your name and all these other names. The Clerk of Court has money, the voice of the Moore County Teachers Assistance Association, the Register of Deeds, individuals, the Junior League. So people can go to nccash.com, punch up their name, maiden, kids, parents, churches, nonprofit, or business name, and you can hit claim. And if everything lines up, we can pay the claim out to you. Obviously, if a person is deceased, it makes it a little bit more fussy. But we gave $600,000 a couple years ago to an individual who was the beneficiary of a life insurance policy, and no one had ever told her.
Well, I've just got a text that says, thanks to your push on NC Cash, 2 of my friends recouped money, and both of them really needed it. I've only got a minute left or so, but Treasurer, before I have to move on, but I want to tell you that, I want to tell our audience, this is the easiest thing you've ever done in your life. It's for that amount of money. If 10 people get on, I'd be willing to bet 3 of them will find something. It's just amazing how many people have gotten money. Treasurer, thank you so much. We're looking forward to seeing you. And by the way, I never said you had a face for radio. I, of all people, am not going to say that. But thank you so much.
You and I have a face for motorcycles, but there's 18 million records at nccash.com and only 10 million citizens, so your odds are really good.
Yep, they're great. Thank you so much for being here. We'll be looking forward to talking to you the week after next.
Thank you, Jay-Z. Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Colonel.
Sure, yes, sir.
All right. Well, I have a little time left, Steve and Colonel, so I'm going to talk about something that happened last night, and actually it's happened over the last couple of weeks. Steve plays a game here called Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I'm always glad that I'm not on here. I'm always glad it's the Colonel and Steve and David, because I don't know where they're getting these fifth grade questions, but some of them are pretty tough. So far, I've talked very often about the people that we elect, we believe to be so much smarter than we are. When I try to talk you into running for office, and I often do, and all of us do, I know the thought that goes through your mind is, I could never hold the standard that these people hold. These are brilliant people, and I couldn't possibly sit on a council or a legislative seat. So I will yield to these people. Well, if you had watched the village council meeting over the last couple of weeks, you wouldn't feel that way.
The Pinehurst Village Council.
What did I say? Village?
You just didn't say one. You just said,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've fallen in the same trap of saying the village, like
Right.
there's only one village.
There's a few.
There are a few, and you live in one.
Yes.
Okay.
We're talking about Pinehurst.
We're talking about Pinehurst, as Jeff shakes his fist at me and tells me you better. The Pinehurst Village Council meeting last night, Kevin Drum, one of the council members, said, quote, "We look like a bunch of clowns." He also said, "I'm going to go home and take a hot shower when this is over. I feel like I need one." Let me just briefly bring you up to date and invite you to go to the links and watch this for yourself. As a matter of fact, there's an abbreviated video you can watch that's floating around. The mayor, John Strickland, Mayor Pro Tem Judy Davis, and Jane Hogeman have accused, and there's no other word that you can use. I mean, I cannot sit here and play lawyer word games. I just can't do it. They have accused Drum and Strickland of ethics violations.
Bosch.
Drum and Bosch, I'm sorry. It's a good thing you're sitting there.
And paying attention.
Yeah.
Lydia Bosch and Kevin Drum.
Well, I
have
usually
been
call her
accused.
Lydia, so let me just go with Lydia.
Yeah.
Kevin Drum and Lydia Bosch of ethics violations. The attorney, they start off every time with the attorney reading. The attorney's seems to me, as some guy, that he is a very good attorney. He seems to really know his business, because the first thing he does is spend a while disassociating himself from this whole action. He talks, he communicates to us that this is not me doing this. This is only me reading this thing to make you be able to better understand it. And then he reads an ethics violation, and he says something like this: if you choose to, this is the portion of the ethics violation that if you choose to, you could take action on. That's not verbatim, but that's very much the close to the gist of it. I don't know if they told him to go out and find a portion of the ethics code that they could use, or if they found that and asked him to read it. I don't know where that came from. Did someone say go find a part of the ethics violation? Because when he reads it, he always says, "This is the portion that you could use if you chose to." And but we need to make a decision on whether or not they violated this code of ethics. Now, by the way, Mayor John Strickland, I saw him the other day at a luncheon, the Republican men's luncheon. I shook his hand, very friendly. We spoke a minute, and I invited the mayor to come on here because I would love for him to be able to give his side of the story, and for you not to have to rely on mine and the video. The video is for certain the best evidence here. But Lydia Bosch, fortunately, had hired an attorney, and I think that was a very smart move, because unbeknownst to both her and Kevin Drum, the council pounced on them again last night. When I say pounced, I think of ambush. In the military, an ambush is when you get someone in the zone where you want them, and completely unexpected and unknown to that enemy, you attack. And I think that's what happened. Apparently, there was a bit of confusion. Lydia Bosch had hired an attorney. She put him on speakerphone, and the attorney said to us, to the audience, and I was listening, said, "Wait a minute, I was told by the attorney for," he called it a city, that there would be no mention of this tonight. It would be taken off the agenda. Then the county, or rather the village attorney, responded and said that, and I was very confused by what he said, because it sounded to me like he said, "I told them it would not be brought up tonight," but then the mayor said, "Okay, let's continue on with this." You need to know that this has stink all over it. No matter how you feel about any of this, the ridiculous, petty accusations that these two are being accused of, surely they could have waited. Surely they could have waited until after the election. We have an election going on, and the folks in Pinehurst need to know the facts. And when you start having whispering and innuendo going on by the mayor, no less, and 3 of the other council members against someone who's up for election, and that is Jeff Drum, a man who's got Kevin Drum, a man who has an impeccable reputation, an amazing reputation for not just being a businessman, but for caring for Pinehurst. And you attack him, and he has no recourse but to sit there at a public meeting and just listen to the accusations that you're making. This has the potential, and it could very well cause him to lose the election. Now, I would like to point out that Lydia Bosch, when her attorney spoke, and he spoke by phone, he said something like the following. He said, "I'm very upset that you did this. Had I known you were going to do it, I would have been there in person speaking to you publicly." He said, "If you'll hold this thing for 2 hours, I'll drive down there tonight." You could hear the anger in his voice. Very professional man, a guy who did not allow his anger to get the better of him, but rather spoke. And I told them that, listen, I want you to know you're under a litigation hold, and that means the preservation of records. That means that everything involved in this, you have to keep it. You cannot get rid of it. They've got requests in for all the paperwork. you can read it for yourself. It's online. But they've got requests in for anything involving this. And then he all but begged them to discontinue this conversation. And I thought, well, that will end it, because who cares? They quit talking about it for a week or two until after the election, and let all the paperwork come forward and get everything out front. But the mayor chose not to. He said that no, we're gonna continue this discussion. We won't vote. We won't take a vote. And then they had these long written statements that just were amazing. It's like, it would be like, ladies and gentlemen, if you were on trial for something and they told you, we're going to make this as fair as we possibly can, and then 10 minutes later, after your trial, which was going to be very fair, they read this long prepared statement. I almost want to say pre-prepared statement, as I know that's ridiculous, but they had prepared it. Reading it indicated your guilt. Well, so how much of a fair trial, so to speak, did he have? Now, they are not calling this a trial. They're not calling it any kind of a legal thing. Okay, but they are going after Lydia Bosch and Kevin Drum. Now, we've got people coming into this town running against Kevin, spending tens of thousands of dollars. People from outside, people we don't know, people who come from a man who comes from D.C., and all of a sudden we have the mayor accusing Kevin Drum of things he can't even respond to, because he doesn't even know they're going to come up until the meeting. Mayor, I would really like you to come on here, please, or as far as that goes, Jane Hogeman or Judy Davis, to explain your side of it. I know that you probably have something you feel is a good answer, and that maybe you'll be able to satisfy. But right now there are lots of people who agree that this is just a horrendous thing that's going on. I don't know. I think you're under a litigation hold. I hope there is litigation. The attorney for Lydia Bosch said that he believes there had been some violations of the open meetings law, and for a layman like myself, knowing nothing about these laws, it sure looks like there is. It sure looks like there is. I don't think you've got to know a lot about it and of course the mayor keeps saying there is not. So, closing this out, let me just say that, folks, you've got to do your own research. I as David said this morning, we understand that a lot of you can't. I get it. People have kids and jobs, and they've got things to worry about, but the people we elect are so important. And if we allow people to come in here and buy TV time with their huge amount of outside money, which is exactly what's happening. You can't turn on the radio without seeing it. And we allow that to happen. Meanwhile, on the other end, the mayor is attacking, and so is part of the other council members, attacking sitting members over the most trivial, ridiculous things that you can imagine. This is not the way our democracy is supposed to work. So I'd encourage you to look for yourselves, look up these videos, and I hope we can get the right people elected for you in the village of Pinehurst. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
All right. Well, so it goes for this Wednesday. Have yourself a great, safe day. We'll see you back bright and early tomorrow, 7 to 9 for a Thumping Thursday. Until then, be sure to support all the advertisers you hear on WEEB, because they are local, they're mom and pops, they live here, they work here, and their money rolls over here and creates jobs for all of us. So it's just good economic practice just to shop local, support local. And be sure to tell them WEEB asked you to come, because that will help us, and it makes radio free for you. And don't forget also that millions of Americans have fought and they have died to give and protect the freedoms that you get to enjoy today. Live today worthy of their and their family's sacrifice. I'm Steve Leader Adams and the LeaderMan. And Nick and Colt the dog will all see you this afternoon at the dog park.